Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to move beyond the AI that just chats and dive into a toolkit that helps you build AI that actually acts. We're talking about Google's Agent Development Kit, or ADK. This is the framework for creating AI that can get real work done. So let's jump right in.
We've all been blown away by AI that can write an email or create some incredible art, but what about the next step? What if an AI could actually do things for you? Run complex tasks, analyze data, and really interact with the world to get a job done. Well, that's exactly the leap we're exploring today.
All right, so before we get any further, let's get on the same page. What exactly is an AI agent? This isn't just a passive chatbot. Think of it more like an autonomous worker. It's a program that can size up a situation, like a request you make or some new data coming in, and then it intelligently takes action to hit a specific goal.
And that brings us to the star of the show, the Google ADK. So what is it? It's an open-source, Python-first framework straight from Google, and it's built specifically to give developers like you all the tools you need to build, test, and launch these really smart AI agents. It's like the ultimate workshop for creating your own little team of AI helpers. So, what's actually under the hood of one of these agents? If we're going to build one, we first have to understand its basic anatomy. So let's pull back the curtain and look at the core components that really make an ADK agent tick.
Probably the easiest way to think about this is like you're writing a recipe for a 5-star chef, right? You just have to provide the right ingredients and some really clear instructions, and then the chef, the expert, handles all the complicated stuff to get you that perfect dish. Every part of an agent is just a critical piece of that recipe.
First up, you've got the model. This is your chef. It's the AI engine, the brains of the operation that does all the reasoning. Now, here's a really key point. Even though the ADK is built by Google and works great with their models like Gemini, it's actually model agnostic. That means you have the freedom to plug in other models, open source ones, third-party ones, whatever works best for the job. You get to pick your chef.
Okay, next up, we have the instructions. And these are your super detailed recipe steps. This isn't just a one-line prompt. This is where you get specific. You define the agent's personality, you spell out its exact goals, and you can even tell it the precise format you want for the final result. This is the core logic that guides everything the agent does.
Now for the part that honestly brings the whole thing to life, the tools. In our kitchen analogy, these are these specialized appliances. A tool could be Google Search for getting real-time info, or a code executor for doing math. This is how the agent breaks out of its little box and actually interacts with the real world to get things done. It's a game changer.
So let's just quickly recap that core recipe. You've got your model, that's the brains. You've got the instructions, that's the detailed game plan. And you have the tools, those are the real-world superpowers. You put those three things together and you've got the foundation for a really powerful agent.
Okay, so that's the theory, but let's get to the fun part, the practical magic. What if I told you that you could take all those components and spin up a working agent, not in hours or days, but in seconds? Well, the ADK makes that totally possible. See, the ADK has this awesome web console with a visual builder that makes this incredibly easy. The process is literally 3 steps. You open the console, you describe the agent you want in plain English to its AI assistant, and then you just save and test what it spits out. It is that fast.
Let's look at a real-world example. Imagine you type this prompt into the assistant. You're being really clear you want a financial research agent. You tell it what to do, analyze bull and bear cases, what tool to use, Google Search, and how you want the output formatted. Pretty specific, right?
And then, like magic, the assistant takes your plain English sentence and instantly translates it into the structured configuration file, a YAML file that the ADK needs to work. It automatically writes out the instructions and hooks up the right tool, in this case, Google Search. And the best part? You didn't have to write a single line of code. So, here's the moment of truth. Does it actually work? Well, you hit save, you type NVIDIA into the little test box, and boom! The agent you just created literally seconds ago goes out to the web, does all the research, and comes back with a perfectly formatted bull and bear case analysis. This is the raw power and speed of the ADK right here.
Now that Google Search tool we just saw, that's just scratching the surface. An agent's real strength comes from the different tools it can use. So let's take a look at some of the other built-in superpowers you can give your agents right out of the box. We already saw the Google search tool, and honestly, this one is fundamental. It's what lets the agent break free from its static, pre-trained knowledge and access and reason about things happening on the internet right now. It's a direct line to the world's most current information.
Then you've got the code execution tool. This one is really cool. It lets your agent write and run its own little snippets of Python code. So if it needs to do some complex math, or sort some data, or run a quick script, the agent can just do it itself. This turns it into a seriously powerful tool for analysis.
Now, for anybody who works with huge amounts of data in their company, this one is an absolute game changer. The BigQuery tool allows your agent to tap into massive data sets and query them just by using natural language. You can literally ask your data questions in plain English, and the agent figures out how to get the answer for you. No SQL required.
And believe me, the list just keeps going. You can have agents that search through your own private company docs with Vertex AI Search, or talk to huge enterprise databases like Spanner. You can even bring in agents you've built with other popular frameworks like LangChain or CrewAI. And if you can't find the tool you need, you can just build your own. The ecosystem is massive.
Okay, so building a cool agent is one thing, but that's only half the battle. Getting it out into the real world where people can actually use it, that's the final crucial step. So let's talk about deployment and how ADK fits into the bigger AI picture.
The ADK gives you a bunch of choices here. If you want a totally hands-off, managed experience that scales automatically, you can use the agent engine on Vertex AI. If you're more of a containers person, you can deploy it to Cloud Run. And if you want maximum control over every little detail, you can run your agents on Google Kubernetes Engine, or GKE. You've got options.
Now, a question I see a lot from developers is, okay, this is cool, but how does ADK stack up against other popular frameworks out there, like LangGraph? It's a great question, because they both help you build agents, but they actually have very different philosophies.
When you look at them side by side, the biggest difference is in how they handle orchestration, or how the agent's workflow is managed. ADK is code first. You're basically writing a script for your agent using standard coding patterns. LangGraph, on the other hand, is like building a visual flowchart. You define every single state and every possible path the agent can take. So what's the bottom line? ADK is really geared towards building robust, scalable agents for enterprise use where code is king. LangGraph is perfect when you need that super precise, map-like control over a really complex process with lots of loops and branches.
So from the basic building blocks to spinning up an agent in seconds, we've seen how the ADK gives you this incredibly powerful and flexible toolkit for creating AI that doesn't just think, but actually does. The power to build this next wave of AI is officially here, and it's in your hands. So really the only question left is, what are you going to build first?